What's up, guys? Welcome to another amazing production of Alex Isidro. As you can see, all the crazy effects and science fiction here happening. So I received a question on one of my social media platforms, and the question was, hey Alex, do you think a systems engineer is the same thing as a project manager? Are they the same? So I figured I share this on YouTube and give you guys a little bit more insight. Maybe one day you want to become a systems engineer, or maybe somebody out there wants to become a project manager in the long term. Now, we're actually going to be kind of like breaking down the question, obviously, and we're going to be focusing on a systems engineer and a project manager. Now, the answer that I'm going to give you is going to be high level. It's not going to be too detailed in this video because obviously I'm answering the question. But for a more detailed explanation of what a project manager does, actually, I did make a couple of videos about that already, so I'm actually going to link them in the description of this video if you want to know more. So go watch them after you watch this video. Now, when it comes to systems engineering, I haven't really talked about that much in the channel yet, so I think I'm definitely going to make a video specifically dedicating a whole video just to systems engineering, because I can see how it can be a little confusing because they're both a little broad, you know. So when it comes to systems engineering, I think the best way, or the simplest way, maybe not the best way, but the simplest way to describe it or relate it to one word, it would be integration. That's kind of like what I think about when I think of a systems engineer. Someone that integrates the multiple pieces of equipment that are designed by different disciplines, and then puts them all in one place and make sure they all the interfaces are done properly, they all work along together, and there are no issues with an overall system. Now, a project manager is basically the person who delivers a certain design or a certain project. Now, let's put it in physical terms. Like, what the hell does this mean? Like, I'm still confused, you may be asking yourself. So let me put it in simple terms here, and let's think of a car. Like when we design a car, let's think of the systems engineer who works with the mechanical engineers who may be designing the engine, or working on the engine, or working on the tires, or working on the HVAC. And let's think also of the electrical engineers who may be doing all the wiring, the power distribution, also dealing with all the electronics, right? And so the mechanical engineers and the electrical engineers, generally speaking, they're going to be working in different things. Each of them is going to have to be focusing on what they do, their discipline, their expertise, and then provide that to the systems engineer. Now, the systems engineer is going to be the one that is basically think of it as the integrator. That's what I said, right? So the systems engineer is going to be working with those different teams of engineers from different disciplines, and it's going to make sure that the power that needs to be provided to all the mechanical devices are done properly. They're making sure that all the interfaces are done efficiently and properly. They're not missing any technical requirements. Everything is working flawlessly. And so that's basically what they do in simple terms. They just integrate. No, they don't just integrate. They integrate a lot of different components to make up the whole system to complete the overall design, whatever it is that you're working on. So that's exactly what they do. Now, when it comes to the project manager, and let's talk about the car design that we're talking about, the project manager is more of a person that delivers the design. They're focused more on the budget, how much money you're going to be spending on your design. They worry more about the timeline. They worry about a schedule. That's a huge one for project managers, because when you are working on a design, you're going to have a budget, you're going to have a schedule, and you have to stick to those. Now, the other thing that the project manager is going to be worrying about is the technical requirements for, in this case, a car design, whether how much horsepower something is going to have, or how much torque is going to have, or what type of engine. So like things like that. So that's the project manager. The project manager delivers the car, and the systems engineer integrates the tires and the engine and the transmission and all the electrical equipment into the car, if that makes any sense. So in simple terms, that's basically the difference between a systems engineer and a project manager. So obviously, to answer your question, they're not the same. Now, when it comes to systems engineering, obviously they have different applications because based on our engineering training, if you haven't learned this yet, you control what a system is, right? A system can have 2 parts, or a system can have 10 parts. So the level of complexity for the duties of a systems engineer is obviously going to depend, but generally speaking, they integrate a bunch of things together, and that's what they do. Now, which one is better for you? Then that really is going to depend on your goals. They're both pretty broad. Project management also integrates a little bit of I shouldn't use integrate, also uses a more business perspective on their budgeting, and maybe if a certain project is taking years to develop or years to design, obviously then you're gonna be using a little bit more of a business mindset when it comes to allocating your resources, your time, meeting all the deadlines. Now, a systems engineer is not too worried about the business side of things. They're technical, but they're not too technical like a mechanical, electrical engineer, So it's really going to depend on what you want to do. I think that a systems engineering degree with a project manager or a PMP, a project management certification, I think it could be pretty powerful, but at the same time, it could be just as powerful as a mechanical engineer with a PMP, with a project management certification. And in fact, you really don't need a project management certification to be a project manager. And you are speaking to one of those cases right here. I was helping out a project manager for a couple of years and basically doing project management, but I never really got my certification, but I did learn a lot from that. From those couple of years. Again, if you are interested in knowing a little bit more about project management, I'm going to link a couple of videos in the description here, and I'm definitely going to make a video about systems engineering. So that's the answer to your question. Maybe I ranted a little bit longer than I should have, but I wanted to deliver the message and answer your question properly. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Let me know which one sounds a little bit more appealing to you. I know that both of them are not going to be for everyone. We all have our preferences, obviously. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. It really does help the channel a lot. It helps with the algorithm and all the kind of stuff. And subscribe to the channel. We talk about engineering career here in life. And so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.